sold my Sony FX6 after a year of creating so many dope projects with it. So a few people were confused about why I wanted to get rid of it. I made a good amount of videos about this, but I wanted to double back on this conversation. Seems like everyone is or has been making the switch to Sony, and rightfully so, because Sony cameras are dominating the market. They're one of the best when it comes to all-around versatility, and we have a huge growing market of all-around content creators that need those features. But my question is, when does a camera become overhyped? When does a camera actually being good turn into your favorite YouTubers just trying to convince you that they have the hottest, flashy new camera at the moment? When I purchased the Sony FX6, I was super hyped because this camera was vouched for by many filmmakers that I respect. When I first purchased it, I got so many DMs from filmmakers and creatives congratulating me like I just won an Oscar or something. My expectations were super, super high for the first images that I would shoot with the camera. Now, I'm not saying that I have the best taste in cinematography and what looks good, but the first images that I seen out of this Sony FX6 were just a little underwhelming, to be honest. But then I remembered the reason I was going into the Sony FX6 wasn't because of the image quality. I thought having great variable ND, autofocus, a lightweight camera, full frame sensor, I thought having these features would honestly outweigh the trade-off when it came to Blackmagic's image quality. And I know it all depends on light, lenses, color grading, what type of filtration you're using. All these are factors to create and shape your image. But if that was the case, why do cinematographers use Arri Alexas, Reds, Sony Venices, just those top of the line cinema cameras? Why not just use a Sony FX6 with those things that we mentioned? I think the big part of why these cinematographers are using these different cameras is because the image that they produce. Blackmagic images are different, a good different. If you shot with a Blackmagic camera, I'm pretty sure you know. It's a very distinct look, and the color grading with B-raw workflow inside of DaVinci is just unmatched to me. Giving that up and going to Sony's Kodaks was definitely not a good experience. I honestly made it work, but I started to feel like a little uninspired with the looks and how much effort I had to put into the image to make it look good to me. Shooting with the Ursa has not been perfect, to say the least. It's power hungry, it's heavy, and it's not the best in low light. And I'll say it again, it's heavy, especially when you start to put batteries and cinema lenses onto the Ursa. The form factor makes it almost impossible to fit on smaller gimbals, so you have to go with more pro level stabilizers and steady cams. Outside of those, I really just love the shooting process, and it just energizes me to shoot with the Ursa. And 9 times out of 10, I'm satisfied with the final image. Now, do I ever miss the FX6? So the quick answer would be yes, and the longer answer would be no, because I do miss the low light. I do miss how light that camera is and the versatility. I was able to shoot all types of content quick, and the process was just really run and gun. And I really enjoyed that about the Sony FX6, that you had these features and you were able to run and gun in all types of environments and situations. Even if the environment is controlled or uncontrolled, the Sony FX6 was a true run and gun camera. I miss having Sony's community of filmmakers, and it seems like it's the biggest it's ever been right now. There are things that I miss about it, but do I regret selling it? No. The Ursa has been inspiring to shoot with it, and I think it's really important to refocus on that. what is the tool that is inspiring you to create your best art. I don't want to get all artsy fartsy, but I think that's the most important thing to refocus on. What is inspiring you to create art? When I had the Sony FX6, it inspired me in that moment to shoot the projects that I shot. Now the Ursa 12K is currently inspiring me to shoot the projects that I'm shooting now. I have zero regret. One, these are just cameras and I use them as tools. I use them for what they are made to be. And taking that focus off of camera brands and what camera that I'm shooting with, and I feel like a really big part of that is the filmmaking ego. The conversation about clients paying attention to a certain camera that you have. I don't feel like that's true. I feel like most filmmakers project how they feel and how they look on set onto their client, and that might make them actually ask, what camera are you shooting with? If you come on set as a DP and you're confident, most of the time the clients really don't care what camera you're shooting with. I would be lying if I said gear does not inspire me sometimes to make certain projects, but I just use that as a small push to create and tell the stories that I actually want to tell. When you look back on your long cinematography career, you're not gonna think about what you shot it on. You're gonna see how you shot it, what stories was told, and how well did you tell the story. I feel like that's much more important than what camera that you shot it on. Refocus. Gear is important, yes. Try to refocus on your art, your craft. So yeah, thank you for tuning in and carry on.